It's the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. Welcome to another episode of the Mike Prince Show here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. It is our mission to try to bring you some news that you could use. Today is no exception to the rule. You can follow me on Twitter at the Mike Prince Show. The YouTube channel is the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Our website is obnradio.com. You can always check out the 24-hour stream on the website by clicking on the words 24-hour stream. Don't forget, if you have one of those smart devices, all you have to do is say, hey, play the latest episode of the Mike Prince Show, and just like that, you'll have everything that you need. And with all that being established, let us jump into today's episode. Well, the numbers are in, the money has been counted, and it stands that in overall standing for FCS, Prairie View A&M University Athletics ranked 34th in the top 63. And when it comes to the Southwestern Athletic Conference, Prairie View is 6th in the conference when it comes to finances. Now, they're roughly about $14 million when it comes to total finance and revenue earned in the 22 fiscal year. And of that $14 million, 75% of that came from student fees, which roughly indicates that Prairie View raised approximately $3.5 million on everything else other than student fees. Now, when we go back to the ticket sales, we talked about how Prairie View was number 6 in the conference, had $484,000 in ticket sales, which had them right behind Texas Southern, who was about $501,000. And no surprise, the top ticket revenue for the Southwestern Athletic Conference was Jackson State. And Jackson State had a shade under $5 million, $4.9 million. Number 2 was Southern University at a little bit over $2 million, at $2.1 million. Then there was a significant drop when it came to Grambling. Grambling had about $740,000 in ticket sales. Now, Alabama A&M was the number 4 spot with $590,000+ in ticket sales. So when you look at this and add it all up, it's saying that they say the numbers don't lie. Prairie View, when we look at the budgets and ticket sales and everything, it's not quite measuring up. And that's not on an institution. That's on us as a fan base. Okay, what I want to do, I want to focus on this $484,000 because we do need to be reminded that this $484,000 basically is going to attribute to football ticket sales and basketball ticket sales for 2022. Now, if we were to take just simple round numbers, and I'm going to keep this on football for this intent and purpose only. If you took the $484,000 that was reported by Prairie View in ticket sales and divide that by $20, that gives you roughly 24,000 and some change people who purchase tickets. 24,000. I want you to follow me real closely. Now, here is where the numbers become mind-blowing, at least to me. Remember, we're only focusing on the football part of this thing. If we took the 24,000 and divided that by 4 home games. I am not going to even count the State Fair Classic. We're going to stick on the 4 home games. That comes out to an average of 6,000 butts in the seats. Think about that. 6,000. We hadn't even added nor subtracted from basketball. We're just using simple, raw numbers. My question is, PVU, where are you? Mind you now, I've done some really simple math equations here, and might I add, rather generous, because I did an average cost of $20 for tickets, and we know they are slightly higher depending on the type of seat that you get, but the average ticket sale, we gave $20. And we gave an average attendance with the revenue raised of $24,000. And breaking down the 4 home games, that came to 6,000 people. Need I remind you that the stadium holds 15,000? Need I remind you we did not include basketball? Where and what is the challenge with PV Nation? Somebody help me figure this one out. What will it take to get PV Nation in the stands? We have great facilities. We have some competitive teams. We have a great family environment. What is the challenge? We were running a poll just on yesterday asking if you only had one game that you could attend, which one would it be? Labor Day Classic, State Fair Classic, or Homecoming? Ironically enough, the Labor Day Classic took the lead. And it was neck and neck between Homecoming and the State Fair Classic. Now, mind you, the State Fair Classic is a neutral site. So you're going to always have a swelling crowd there. So depending on who the home team is, you can just pretty much chalk that one aside. But games that are on your campus, PVU, where are you? And even when it comes to Homecoming, yes, there are 30, 40, close to 50,000 people covering the campus from every angle, but they're not going to attend the game. PVU, where are you? The only way that we can make things better is we must help ourselves. The numbers don't lie. Excuses run short. Bottom line is, as proud as I know that PV Nation is, we must step our game up. PVU, where are you? Now, I made the mention about the budget, $14 million, and 75% of that is coming from student fees. If you thought that was amazing, Alabama A&M, their budget is made up of 90% of the student fees. But my focus on today is PVU. Where are you? Now, I don't have time to dissect each and every school of the conference. We'll break that down a little later on in a couple of the shows. But when you add all of this up, it just doesn't make sense. We have the best of everything. And I'm not saying that to dump on anyone that makes up this beloved conference. We have a great apartment living setup for our student bodies. We have up-to-date, immaculate facilities. And as I mentioned before, our teams are competitive. And they're going to get even more competitive with some of the changes that have been made. And if we're not showing up for the sport that everyone goes bonkers over, what does that say for the other sports that make up the entire athletic department? Now, I know we can't make everything all the time, but there's no reason that we should not be filling that stadium up. Now, I can't put it all on the fan base only. There has to be an accountability from the administrative part as well. What is being done collectively for marketing? I'm not talking about doing a Toasters gathering in Houston. What is being done in the immediate area to draw the would-be crowd base to your home events? What marketing strategies are going outside of the social media effect? Yes, social media is awesome. Social media is powerful, but it's not the end-all, be-all. It has really pulled a fast one over people who have taken the grind out of marketing, and they think with a couple of blurbs and some tweets that that's going to take it. You got to have boots on the ground. You got to be able to let the folk know that you're in town. Don't assume that folks know because you sent out a tweet, you sent out an email. Whatever happened to good old-fashioned proven tactics that work, like a direct mail campaign with the schedule? Yeah, I know the schedule is posted on the website. I know that it's electronic era, but what's wrong with putting a piece of paper or a postcard in someone's hand and saying, oh, by the way, here's the schedule? It's the little things that lead you to greatness. We owe it to our student athletes. We owe it to our forefathers to put forth a much greater effort to draw the numbers that should be going. People say, oh, this is the best kept thing in the world. Man, this is the world's best kept secret. The secret shouldn't be a secret. And the proof is in the pudding that we can do it. We gather, as I mentioned, at homecoming and take over. Then we don't show up for our home games. Now, the coaching staff can't fuss about this, and for the most part, administrative can't fuss. But I'm not on their payroll. God knows I'm not on their payroll. They make sure of that. But that's not the issue at hand here. The challenge is we say how near and dear our beloved Prairie Review is to us. What are we going to do about it? how can we make this right? It's really time for us, PV Nation, to take our heads out the clouds. Let's get back to the basics. And let's really show who we're rooting for. This is on us. This is on us. This is not about outside influences. This is not about Texas A&M. This is not about any other person you want to point at. We have to look at the man in the mirror. PVU, where are you? I'm extending a challenge to PV Nation. I'm extending a challenge to former student athletes. I'm sending a challenge to everyone who says that Prairie View is special to them. If you can't do anything but buy a $100 season pass, if you have to give it to someone less fortunate, let's do it. Let's make it happen. Let's fill the stands. And one last thing, it's Friday, it's Football Friday coming up on, and yes, I'm ranting. I hadn't ranted in a while. Stop calling the east side of the stadium the visitor side. Every seat in that stadium belongs to Prairie View. Let's stake our claim. Let's make it happen. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. Yes, I was fussing today, and I was fussing because I care. I do this every day because I care. And most of you care because you're listening, and I thank you for that. But can we collectively come together and make it happen? I am going to exit stage left for right now. But until the next time, you all be blessed. We'll see you on the other side.